The Everest really does feel like a companion that can help you get everything ticked off your to-do list. You could drop the kids off at school in the morning and then run between country towns. It really feels like the only vehicle that you need in your family. If you've been researching large 7-seat SUVs, then it's highly likely you've been checking out the Ford Everest. This is a car that's designed to handle pretty much anything Australian families can throw at it, and we're going to have a pretty good deep dive into what makes this vehicle so popular. But before we do, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all the latest RACV news, motoring advice and reviews. Let's start with what makes the Everest stand out. This is a vehicle engineered specifically for Australian life. It ticks all our boxes and probably a few that you hadn't thought of. It's as home at the school run as it is in the Wombat Forest. And while some vehicles come with 1 or 2 compromises, we haven't found that many on the Everest. The Everest range is extensive. There's a host of models, including some limited editions. Now, this sport model gets the headline act, a 3-litre V6 turbo diesel engine pumping out 184 kilowatts and 600 Newton meters of torque. That's serious pulling power, and it's paired with a 10-speed auto and 4-wheel drive system. Elsewhere in the range, there's a bi-turbo 4-cylinder which has slightly less towing ability but is a bit more efficient. For a short time, it's available on the Sport all-wheel drive variant. Read more at the RACV website. Need to tow a caravan? The Everest Sport with V6 offers the all-important braked 3.5-ton towing capacity. It's a non-negotiable for buyers who plan to do it all with the Everest. Got a big family? There's space for 7, and the cabin is packed with clever storage, USB ports and air vents for every row. While other 7-seat SUVs are more of a 5+2 offering, the Everest is a genuine 7-seater, and the comfort goes right from the front all the way to the back. Up front, there's a nice driving position and plenty of adjustment in the seat as well as the steering wheel. As you'd expect from a premium model, we've got nice finishes like these sport logoed leather appointed seats. We've got a portrait touchscreen, and there's comfort features too, like heated and ventilated seats for both the driver and the passenger. And it's pretty comfortable in the second row. There's loads of space. I can slide this seat forward, and I've still got plenty of head and leg room. And the third row, well, it's pretty comfortable for me as an adult, although I would note that this second row is pushed all the way forward, and I am sat behind the 60 of the 60-40 split. If I were to sit behind the 40, there's not as much room for my feet. But largely pretty comfortable for short distances for adults. But obviously, it's really going to be somewhere where bonus kids get to hang out. And one thing that we have seen on a few 7-seaters recently is a reclining third row, which makes it a little bit more comfortable. This is feeling quite upright for me, so I think my preference would be just to have this lean back just a little bit. And carrying on with the car seats, you can put 3 across this second row and 2 in the back because there are top tethers on both of these seats. So you can configure 5 car seats in the Everest, which makes it one of the most practical family wagons on the market. Adding to the comfort factor in the third row are the air vents, which are pretty essential in Australian summers, let's be honest, as well as convenience factors like a 12-volt socket for keeping gadgets plugged in and charged up on the go. And even with all 3 rows in play, there's still a decent amount of room in the boot. And that's not compromised, even though there's a full-size spare fitted underneath the back of the car. That's one of those things which is an absolute non-negotiable if you're going to be taking this car off-road. Of course, I can also fold this third row flat, which means I've got 900 litres of space straight away. Fold the second row and that grows. It's a cavernous space and great for carrying big loads. You don't need to spend too much time behind the wheel of the Everest to understand why this V6 engine is such a popular option with motorists. The engine's paired with a 10-speed auto transmission, which manages its gear changes really well. It's quite a responsive unit. It's incredibly flexible. It's effortless around town, but once you need a bit of extra power, perhaps to overtake, or once the road opens up, then it's all there under the right foot. One area to be aware of is that there is a slight turbo lag from standstill. It's a heavy vehicle and the turbos take their time to spool up, but once moving, it's fine. The Everest rides on a traditional ladder frame, but thanks to coil springs at the back and a Watts Link suspension setup, it rides better than you might expect. And while this isn't a sports car, it is engaging and enjoyable to drive, proving that the Everest is incredibly flexible. We've driven it around town at nice low speeds through school zones, and we've also opened it up on a country road with plenty of bends and twists, and it's managing its weight really well. It shouldn't be that dynamic, but it really feels like it's not too much of a chore to drive. We really can have a bit of fun driving it. You know, that's at least a little bit about what car ownership is all about.
If you're enjoying this video, give it a like and share it with your friends and family. We post new RACV videos every day, so hit subscribe and press the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest motoring, home and travel content.
I don't reckon a large SUV should handle quite as well as this Everest Sport is handling right now. We're doing some fairly tight twists and turns, and it's managing everything really, really well. It doesn't feel like a large, heavy SUV at all. In fact, the ride is even pretty comfortable. Now, this car is fitted with optional 18-inch alloy wheels and an all-terrain tyre, and you might reasonably expect that the larger 20-inch rim might be a little bit more compromised. On the road, the Everest feels every inch the modern SUV. There's a large portrait touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and a full suite of safety features, including adaptive cruise, lane keeping, blind spot monitoring, and 5-star ANCAP rating with 93% child occupant protection. Under the bonnet, the 3-litre V6 immediately impresses with its refinement. It's quiet at idle with just a muted rumble. It's a stark contrast to the older 3.2-litre 5-cylinder diesel. Importantly, the Everest has a relatively tight turning circle of 11.8 metres, which is quite surprising given its size. And that means U-turns and parking manoeuvres aren't as cumbersome as you might think. In suburban settings, it's easy to manoeuvre. This car's fitted with an optional 360-degree camera, which makes parking so easy. Vision around the car is really good too. I've got excellent vision out of the rear view mirror, and also large side mirrors, which means I've got a really great view around the car too. It's got a nice high driving position, and I originally thought it was going to have seats that were built for a bulkier body than mine, but it's incredibly comfortable to sit here, and I do have that commanding driving position. And again, I think that's one of the things that people really like when they choose one of these large SUVs, is the ability to see far into the distance when they're driving. One thing I really like about Ford vehicles is their implementation of the driver assistance system. Everything works and nothing is too intrusive. So the lane keeping systems aren't suddenly trying to nudge you out of your lane. And the speed limit assistant gives you a warning the second you go over the speed limit, so you can adjust accordingly. It gives you the feeling that you're in a safe vehicle, but not a vehicle that's trying to nanny you through your drive. But it's not just a family taxi. The Everest is a genuine off-roader. We won't do a full off-road test here, but it's important to acknowledge the Everest's off-road pedigree, because this is a key reason many Aussies are choosing it. It's built on the Ranger Ute platform with proper low-range gearing, a locking rear diff, and selectable drive modes for mud, sand and more. Ground clearance? 226 millimetres. Water wading? Up to 800 millimetres. It'll go places most urban SUVs can't. And even if you might never actually go there, at least you know you can. Unlike a lot of SUVs, the Everest is built on a 4x4 truck platform, and it has the hardware to match. Like I've mentioned, the full-time 4-wheel drive with 2-speed transfer case, both high and low range, and a locking rear diff. It also features an advanced terrain management system with selectable modes: normal, eco, tow haul, slippery, mud and sand, that adjust the throttle, gearbox and traction control to suit the conditions. And the cognoscenti, those people that are planning to take this car off-road, will swap out to these 18-inch wheels, which will assist with articulation. But for 99% of what a recreational off-roader or touring family will do, it's more than capable. For everyday buyers, perhaps the off-road kit is more about peace of mind, knowing that if you go camping or if you live rurally and hit muddy roads, the Everest won't break a sweat. All up, the Everest nails what it needs to: space, comfort and user-friendliness. It feels like a vehicle that understands family needs and also the wanderlust of an adventurer. The Sport carries plenty of spec. It is sporty yet practical, which is exactly what buyers want. It may not have the plushness of a Land Cruiser, but it also doesn't have that price tag. Instead, it feels durable and premium enough. Given the dual role this vehicle plays as a family taxi and adventure machine, the Everest does strike a compelling balance. No wonder it's sustained its position towards the top of the sales chart. If you want an SUV that can do it all without making you compromise, the Ford Everest should be at the top of your shortlist. It's tough, practical, and it's enjoyable to drive. It really does everything that a family needs, and probably a little bit more. What a shame, though, that the Ford engineers haven't yet trained it to tidy up after the kids.